Hello, welcome everybody into another episode of What's Up Wenatchee. Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to enjoy this next couple of hours where the sun is shining. And it is a beautiful day. We are getting ready for a really nice weekend. I think we're supposed to get a couple of snow showers tomorrow, but for the most part, I think the rest of today is supposed to be just like it is right now. So maybe you are on your lunch break and you're getting a chance to enjoy a little entertainment here with the What's Up Wenatchee podcast. So we really are grateful that you're going to spend a little bit of time here with us and interact with us through the chat. Whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitch, wherever you are, you can interact right to us in the chat, and maybe we can throw your chat, your comment up on the screen. We do have the ability to do that, so we'll highlight your chats throughout the show, answer your questions, and whatever. Um, as we go along, we're getting better and better at this. I would say about 15% better today than we were last week, and we're ever improving. And so today's show is going to be pretty interesting. I have put on pause. I've made a decision that I am going to just halt the interviews for today's show because until we get all of the technical glitches out of the way, and can test all of the equipment and run through things and know that everything's going to run 100% smoothly. We're going to be able to sit back and have the conversations the way that we want to have the conversations. Uh, we're going to just put a pause. We're going to put a pin in having the interviews because we want to be able to do it justice and make a safe space for everybody. Like, that is the mission of What's Up Wenatchee. Now, in the past, in the future, and always. It's always been, this is an open forum for conversation and a safe place for everybody in our community to come and talk about all of the good things that are happening and all of the important issues that are of impact to the constituents and the community members that are living around here. So, with that being said, if you have something that is important to you that maybe we're not covering on the show, we would love for you to suggest a topic or an organization or a business or a nonprofit that we haven't or talked to, or maybe they knew haven't covered before. Just get in touch or put something in the chat, and we'll follow up on it, because that's what it's all. We do this for you. So today I'm going to talk about a few different things. I realized this week that I have a really strange, weird connection to Seth MacFarlane. If you know who Seth MacFarlane is, he is the creator of Family Guy and American Dad and the newest show, The Orville. And I have this kind of weird connection with him, so I'll explain why that is. And I want to yesterday was a super odd day that I ended up in a room that I should have never have been in. I don't I'll tell you exactly how I ended up in that room and how it ended that I was right where I was supposed to be. And I got a lot of weird looks throughout the afternoon, but I'm pretty used to that, so it's okay. And I would tell you all about a really super special broadcast that we are going to have next week on this show. So we've been bouncing around for the live broadcast, but next Friday we're going to be at a very, very, very special place. You all know it, and I'll tell you about it a little bit later on in the show. I want to thank a very special friend of mine who actually got to take a day off yesterday, which is very unusual. But my friend Mary Hart and her husband Jeremy, you've heard me talk about Lenesse Boutique. And if you get tired of me talking about Lenesse Boutique, I'm sorry, but they are a huge supporter of the What's Up Wenatchee podcast. So I'm going to keep on talking about them because because they are a huge supporter. As long as they help me pay my bills, I'm going to keep on talking about them. That's how it works. Them's the rules. So and because I'm so gosh darn proud of her. She opened up her boutique, her storefront. She is like the quintessential small business owner who was one of those stalls down at the public market that was there was business artisans, and then had that dream to one day open up a storefront and did it. So kudos to her and local artisans and their goods all in one shop. So if you get a chance, always new product. Her product itself is soaps and bath bombs and beard oils and all the good stuff for your body. But then she has local stuff from all other people as well. So check it out, Lenesse Boutique over and the north end of Wenatchee across from Les Schwab. And we love them. So thank you so much for your support. And the one who made the limited edition What's Up Wenatchee soap. So you could go in there, ask her for some What's Up Wenatchee soap, and maybe she'll get you some made. We did launch this week something brandy new. It's called Supercast.com. It's our little subscription-based deal. And it's just an easy peasy lemon squeezy way for people to support us because we've been being asked, like, what can we do? How can we support? And that's really been the biggest way, I think, for people to do that. If you feel like you want to support us financially, you can do that. Because it's not like we are going to pocket the money and run to Hawaii, right? We're reinvesting that money into equipment, into now lighting, into microphones, into cameras, into editing equipment, or also can make better content, better product, and have better access to come back and report back to you. So it's all to come back to the community. Always has been, always will be. And we always like to try and keep things, positive and looking at like the good that things are doing in this community. So part of this odd day that I had yesterday, Alice Brown. She is the executive director for North Central Washington's Economic Development District. And okay, so if you don't know what that is, it is what's the best way I can explain it? They are federally funded and they have a lot of resources. So think about it, economic development to help businesses develop, economic development. And she handles a region all around here, like so it's Chelan, Douglas, and I believe Okanagan, Grant counties. So 4 counties. That's a big region. But a big part of the reason that she is federally funded in this area, because they have economic development districts in all different parts of the country. But reason that they have one here in North Central Washington is mostly because of the agricultural need, the need for development in our agricultural businesses for them to thrive. They need to continue to develop their businesses, their technology to keep up with the times. And so Alice Brown and her team in the Economic Development District are really integral in helping those agricultural businesses to do that. But that's just part of what they do. Another part of what they do is help other small businesses in getting skills and resources to help their businesses grow as well. So they do run the Supernova competition. So if you are a small business owner, I believe within your first 3 years of business, and you want to go through, it's like a 10-day boot camp for a chance at $10,000 to help you build your business, to reinvest in your business. The portal right now is open at the NCWEDD to apply for the Supernova competition. And this year, as part of the Supernova competition, they are adding a little bit of media training and podcasting. So you, as part of the Supernova competition, will get to be part of a podcast produced by me. Yay! And I'm going to get a chance to do a media training workshop with the Supernova competition participants this year. So I'm super excited to be a part of that experience for them and meet all of whoever the participants are going to be this. But I want to put that out there for any of the small businesses that get to watch this. Go ahead, get your application and be a part of the Supernova competition, because I know there's a lot of networking that happens, a lot of resources. They help you put your business plan together. And Alice and her team are just so sweet and so helpful. So we'll make sure to get the links and the information and all of that up in the descriptions and as well. So for all of that. And she was an integral part of my odd day yesterday. So I have a lot of that to thank to Alice. So thank you, Alice, for my yesterday. And I'll tell that story in just a little bit. But I'm just really excited that I'm going to be a part of that. Because I have a business, what is he? He's like a business coach. He helps me. And he was like, have you thought about being a competition? I was like, well, I kind of am part of the Supernova competition, but helping them, helping train media competition participants. So I am just humbled and grateful to be involved in any way possible. So that kind of brings me back to this supercast, because we were talking about how to. When I saw her yesterday, she goes, you never posted our interview, because her and I did this like 40-minute long podcast interview, audio interview, right before we were doing these live streams. I went to her and we did this like really nice, awesome, super thorough about what they do, their resources, who they help, all about the competition. This one of the best interviews I think I've ever done. And I've been sitting on this audio of this interview, and she goes, you never released our podcast interview. I was like, yeah, I have special plans for it. And she was like, okay. And she didn't ask me like, what are your special plans? She like didn't want to know. She just 100% just trusts me. She just was like, okay, all right, whatever you want to do. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. She just, one day that audio will see the light of day, but it's going to see the light of day sooner than you think. Because this is what I'm going to do, is I am so excited about being a part of the Supernova competition as part of the training that I am going to, I'm going to take a short snippet of that interview, like maybe I would say like 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm going to release it out as an audio only podcast. And I'll put it up out on where everybody can get it, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. But then for those of you who choose to subscribe through Supercast at the Just Saying or higher level, which is a $10 a month or higher level. That gives you access to all full length or unreleased interviews that I'm going to be putting out. And that's going to be the first one. I'm going to go ahead and put the full 40 minutes of my interview with Alice Brown from the Economic Development District up as a special unreleased full-length episode available to the people who subscribe through the Supercast. So if you now's a pretty good time because you're going to get some unreleased interviews once I get that up. So give me the weekend. I will get that cut up and put out there for all our new Supercast subscribers. It's just WUW for whatsupwenatchee.supercast.com, and you'll see the levels, and it's really super easy to do. All right, I gotta take a sip. But Grayson, isn't that like really exciting?
Exciting.
Mm-hmm. I feel over the past couple of months, there has been a lot that has gone on that have been really good, super good, everything's good. And then there's a lot going on that's like, oh my gosh, like boof, boof, boof. I've been taking my hits, but I've also been lifted up. So life is in balance, everything is in balance. And a lot of people are interested in podcasting, and I love that they are reaching out to me and asking me about it. And oh, hi Nikki and Grayson. Hi Shannon. Oh, see,
Hi, Shannon.
So this is like how it goes when I can put, look, I could put Shannon's. There you are. Oh, there's my Shannon's face. Oh, I love so much. Shannon is not feeling well. She is sick, and we hope that you feel better. Go home, stay home. I know she's home already. Stay home. Have Justin go pick you up some pho, and that'll make you feel better. Anything you need, you let us know. We take care of our own, right? Oh, so I was thinking about how the transition. We're doing this transition with What's Up Wenatchee. This is our third live stream show. And I can honestly say that every show gets better and better as far as our knowledge, our skills, my nerves, our preparation, everything. We're just continuing to grow. What's Up Wenatchee? This is our third live stream show. Just as I say, we're getting better. But I'm explaining to people they want to start at run talk, right? They come to me, they go, can we do exactly what you're doing and just do live streaming right from the start? And it is an option. I tell people a few things when they ask me about podcasting. I tell them, and I am just kind of the local consultant for podcasting, right? There are other people out in the world that are knowledgeable about podcasts, and I trust them, and I am always learning and being educated about what I do. And one of the people that I trust that is out there doing great in the business of podcasting is a man called Kevin Schmidland. He has a podcast called Grow the Show about growing your podcast. Well, duh, if you want to educate yourself on your business, you do that. And then, so I listen to podcasts about growing your podcast. So in an episode, he was asking, I guess, hypothetically, like, do you need to be focused on video in 2023 for your podcast? And because it takes a lot of time, as we're finding out, it takes a lot of energy. Um, and you can't just like plug and play doing like audio into video or taking your video and putting it into audio, right? So if you like, I can't just take my audio from an audio podcast, put some visuals to it and post it up on, well, you can, but it's not going to be as effective as doing this live stream. Or I can't just take this live stream, cut the audio out of it, strip the audio and take that audio and put it online, because people can tell that this is, you could tell that this is live, the video, aspects to video, and it doesn't sound right, and they feel like they're out of place listening to it on an audio podcast. So you have to completely produce it differently, or just figure out which one you're going to be. Are you going to be an audio podcast, or are you going to be a video podcast? Neither one is right or wrong, right? It's focus on. You can do both, but most people are not doing podcasting full time like I am. This is my job. But if this is not your full-time job, this is something that you're doing on the side or something to supplement your marketing or promotions strategic plan, you could talk to me about that. I know all about it. Then you're not going to have the time to do both. You can hire somebody to do both, but then you're paying them the time to do both. So pick which one you want to do and own it. That is my suggestion for how to handle your podcast. And What's Up Wenatchee is kind of like the guinea pig of the Darling Productions podcast network. So we started, the inspiration for the podcast network, we started with just this podcast, and it grew to other podcasts, and it was an audio first podcast for the first 2 seasons. We decided that we were going to make a deliberate change to a video first podcast with some audio supplementation for our subscribers. But it wasn't just a willy-nilly thing. It was a very, very deliberate choice. And like I said, it's my podcast, so I can kind of work with it. And if something doesn't work, no harm, no foul. Doesn't bother anybody. I mean, it bothers me. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But we move on. We learn from it, just like anything else. Okay. So if you have interest in podcasting for you as a hobby podcaster, or for your business, your organization, your nonprofit, I can come and talk to you. I do free consultations, or just free. I don't even like to call them consultations. I like to have free conversations about podcasting. So you can get in touch. Hi. Oh, yes, hi. I haven't talked to her. I have not talked to you in so long. Are you still in Leavenworth? She used to come and see us from Leavenworth. All right. Oh, and another great feature before I move on from the Supercast subscription, one of the really great features of it is the Ask Me Anything feature. Which they have that on Reddit, but once you subscribe, and you can subscribe as low as $5 a month, or you can make a one-time donation, that's fine, but it has this Ask Me Anything feature, so you can go on there and literally ask a question, and then I will see it, and then it'll like keep a feed of all the really, steamy, sultry like questions that everybody's always ever wanted to know, like, why do I own clothes from size extra small to extra large. Yep, I do. Yeah, I found that out last weekend because we were like, I have clothes literally that span from 3X small to 3X large because I have spanned all those weights in my adult life. That's why you can't be bothered by what you weigh anymore. I can't be bothered by what I weigh anymore. People always have an opinion about, like, as soon as you lose weight, you look great. How do you feel? I feel like crap. Okay. I feel like crap. Yeah. Thank you. Or one of the times when I've been like my plumpy and curviest is when I felt like the most, I don't know, happy. Yeah. Right now, I don't know. I'll be fine. Quick update. Health, because I don't want to do a whole. I have not even in my outline do I have anywhere about updating about my health, but I feel like I should do a small little update about the health. So here's a small update about health. Okay, Tuesday I have a scan. So I'm going to have the scan done. They're going to scan to see how much functionality I have left in my kidney. From there, they're going to determine whether to move forward with the extraction of the kidney stones. 2 3-centimeter kidney stones in my right kidney. Bad news bears. As long as I have like good kidney function, which I'm pretty sure that I do, with the surgery that they're thinking is going to be the February 3rd, so the following Friday. So it might be a couple weeks out from surgery, but looking good. Faster than we thought it was going to happen. And I'm happy about that. All right. So, Grayson, you familiar with Seth MacFarlane?
I am.
Yeah. Do you like him? Family Guy?
Family Guy. Yeah. The Orville's great. I know it's on Hulu now. It's good.
Yeah. So the Orville. How I feel about that? Because it's kind of like this. If you haven't seen it, it's a parody of Star Trek.
It is.
Yeah. And so now Ryan is a huge Star Trek fan. He kind of got me into it. Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I was like, meh, why couldn't you do Star Wars? He had to do Star Trek. But as soon as we started watching the Orville, I was like, okay, this is because Seth MacFarlane he's so funny. Like, he's smart funny. He is smart funny in the way that, like, you could be either like the smartest person in the room or literally the dumbest oaf in the room and you're finding his stuff hilarious, right? Yeah, he's that kind of guy. So he's the animator, he's an actor, he's a singer, he's a pretty good singer, kind of a dancer and filmmaker. He's responsible for Family Guy, American Dad, and then the latest is the Orville. And I just he's just completely filthy. And I love that about him. He's just so filthy. And he just appeals to the lowest human nature with the fart jokes and the puke. And it still makes a pretty poignant point about the nature of where our society is as a whole.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks. So I feel like I have this weird connection with him and I don't know if that's just a testament to how good he is as a writer, maybe because he's writing about things that people can relate to. But I mean, my mom passed a few months ago. We're what, 3 months now. 3 months ago, my mom passed away. And I had been trying to think about a tattoo to get as a memorial tattoo for my mom. And my mom had no tattoos. She said her entire life, one day she was going to get a tattoo. One day I'm going to get a tattoo. One day I'm going to get a tattoo. She never got a tattoo, ever. Now, her husband, my stepdad, covered, like me, covered. You can't tell, but I'm covered, right? You know this.
Well, you're covered, so.
Well, yeah, most of the time I cover it pretty well. And I kind of I've been strategic about where I've gotten my tattoos. So you can't really see a whole lot of them, but you can see some of them when I am not wearing a sweatshirt or whatnot. But so I've been kind of thinking, because I have a memorial tattoo for my stepdad, and it's the cover of a Harper Lee book, and it has like a train, and kind of symbolizes me and my stepdad. So I'm just trying to like think about my mom, my relationship with my mom. And it just hit me. It like out of the blue, where it just played, and it just hit me. The scene where Lois is laying in bed and Stewie walks over, and he's standing at the edge of the bed going, "Ma, ma, 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 mom, mommy, mommy, ma, mommy." You know what I'm talking about, right? That was my ringtone for my mom for years. For years. Because that was me. That me to my mom forever. Mom, ma, ma, mom, ma, ma, mommy. And I'm like, oh, I'm now gonna have a Family Guy on my body. I know it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And it will always, I mean, it's so perfect. So perfect. And and now it makes it even more special, because it will remind me of Trenton too. Like there's no way that Trenton will not be standing on the side of my bed going, "Mom, mom, mommy."
He's getting there.
He's already getting there. Except he calls me Dada. Can we even like talk about that for a second? That my kid calls me Dada.
He's called you Mama.
He's called me Mama.
He does call you Dada more.
But he calls me Dada more than he calls me Mama. Dada. And I'm like, I'm not Dada. I'm Mama. And then when I'm like, can you call me Mama? He goes, Mama. He covers his mouth. I don't know why he does it. Mama. Language thing. Because this is a sign for Mama, Mama, Dada, Mama. And somebody does it like this, Mama. I don't know. So the Orville is really, really funny. I wanted to talk about it for just a moment. So there was 2 seasons of the Orville. Fox? Probably on Fox.
And then Hulu.
Yeah, so no, there was 2 seasons on Fox, and then it got canceled. 3rd season got picked up on Hulu.
That's right, and they renamed it.
It was the Orville New Horizons, because probably legality or some crap. Same show, but same characters, all that good stuff. But I love this is because, I mean, it is kind of like a sci-fi spoof comedy drama, smart in the fact that it like smartly deal with crucial topics that are happening in like Glynn's, which is, you know, we're talking about like space alien cultures, right, that are happening in the 25th century. in the future. But like, so there's like a mockling culture, which is a culture who obviously have same-sex mates because it's an all-male culture. And if they do in fact have a female child by accident, they gender reassign them
At birth.
at birth. At birth. And that's what happens to this, in the show. These young couple have a female child and then gender reassign her to a male. So they're talking about like really, I mean, we're talking about interspecies gender reassignment. Then they talk about like advancements of societies at different rates because they go from planet to planet at different, and this planet's advancing society and how you should of three, not to give a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. There's love between a human and a robot. So not just interspecies love, like what did that even be? Intermachinery love. Like this is, I know it's a fictional show.
They connect on such an intellectual level.
Yes, they connect on an intellectual level. And I believe like the big point that Seth is really trying to get across here is that if we think these issues that we're dealing with right now in our society are unique to our era, to our generation, to our epoch, we are kidding ourselves. They had these problems generations ago. Our parents had these problems. Our grandparents had these problems. In the 60s, they had those problems. We have these problems now where they're going to have these problems in the future. They're going to look a little bit different.
And that's what he shows.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what he shows, including mental health.
Yes, including mental health.
Involvement of different characters.
Absolutely. And racism. They definitely talk about racism and genocide. They talk about like wiping out an entire race because they might turn around and do it to you. And is genocide the right answer? And some people think so, some people didn't.
They talk about topics today that we have with social media.
Well, there was a whole planet. There is, yes. So not that we that lived off of a like-dislike system. So like we do on social media, but to the extreme where their judicial system was connected to whether they liked or disliked. So if something was socially, publicly disliked enough, they were sent into the judicial jailed and then publicly ridiculed for it. Their life was basically over for doing something publicly that people didn't like. Public shaming. Yeah. Public shaming led to imprisonment, essentially. So, how off are we from that?
Not at all, because they bring in a lot of Japanese culture into that, and how Japanese are when it comes to shaming people when they do not behave in the manner that society in general in Japan should behave. And they really show that. They shape and they bring in lots of different cultures.
I'm not sure how much people can actually hear what you're saying, so I'm just going to repeat it. He's saying that there's like people in the Japanese culture that if you don't do things that are socially acceptable, that you get publicly shamed, and it's pretty severe. Yeah, get that right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to I actually looked up part of the script of one of the episodes because one of that planet that we were just talking about, the like-dislike planet, one of the people from that planet actually escaped uh, and got onto the Orville. And once you kind of see that there's life out there in the galaxy, this would be like essentially one of us here on Earth knowing that there's a galaxy worth of things out there that are basically more advanced than Earth. She was like, why can't I bring this technology back to my people and try and make things better? And general, whatever her name is, yeah, on the ship was saying, we can't just take like a food synthesizer, which would change the lives of everybody. It would end food starvation. It would end the need for money, because you could synthesize anything, clothes, cars, food, anything that you need, you would just synthesize it, and there would be no need for money. So she basically was saying that you can't just take that technology back and meddle in the trajectory of the advancement of society. And this was the line. She says, look, if someone had landed on Earth during our 20th or 21st centuries and given us something like this, meaning the visor, it wouldn't have been made available to everybody. It would not have been made available to everybody. Just the rich and powerful. They would have found a way to exploit it for financial gain. Someone would have had to benefit materially from its use. The idea of everyone benefiting equally would have been inconceivable to them. So she's talking about us like right now.
Yep.
If we had advanced technology, it absolutely would not be available to everybody. It would be an elitist commodity. They would not allow everybody to have it. Who's going to space right now? The elite rich. There could be, I'm going to leave it on this, there could be all of that's actually happening in the Orville, people traveling to other planets, other advanced societies out there happening. We're just not advanced enough yet to be able to experience it and be part of the planetary union.
I feel like this is an episode of Ancient Aliens.
I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. No, Ryan is Ancient Aliens. He always wants me to watch Ancient Aliens, and I am not about it.
It's so great.
No.
It's wonderful.
I hear him out. Believe me, I'm open-minded. You know this. I am very open-minded.
And how else do you describe things that have happened in past civilizations, technologies we don't even
Okay. The two of you can start your own podcast about it, all right? Maybe you will. Bye, Cass. She said she had to go. All right. Oh, is it time? We're just a little bit after 1:00, so maybe we lost some people after lunch break. But if you're still on, thank you. I think before we lose you, I want to make a big announcement for next week's podcast, live broadcast. Should we do it?
Drum roll, please.
So next Friday for our live What's Up Wenatchee podcast broadcast, we will be broadcasting from the Town Toyota Center prior to Daddy or Date Night at the Wenatchee Wild. Yes! So excited. It is going to be so much fun. We get to hang out on the concourse, broadcast live, Grayson, right there, so people can chat with us. You can come and knock on the window from outside. We'll be like, hey, we're inside, you're outside, what's up? But later on that night, daddy-daughter night, daddy-daughter date night for the Wenatchee Wild. So they're going to do a best dad contest. Daughters and dads can get their photo on the game, but game, I'll be there hosting some daddy-daughter karaoke time on the concourse before the game starts, starting at 5:45. So doors open at 5:45. You can get your BOGO tickets for daughters with their dads right now at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. And isn't it going to be cool to broadcast?
Awesome.
Yeah. And Coach Clarkey is going to be on the podcast. So he's going to sit down with us live on the concourse, and we're going to talk game. We're going to talk Wenatchee Wild. So I got to brush up on my Wenatchee Wild knowledge. So we're going to make that happen this week at some point. I got to make a few calls to my people who know the game, because I've not been paying attention. At least I'm honest. But Coach Clarkey will call me out. He'd be like, Nikki, you have not been coming to games. I have not seen you. Me and Coach Clarkey go way back. So it'll be really good to see him. Really good to get him on the show. Karaoke on the ice. Daddy-daughter date night. Karaoke starting at 5:45 next Friday. Get your tickets now at WenatcheeWildHockey.com. It's going to be fun. Whew. Holy cow. Okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here if I have to go to the bathroom, because I have bad kidney pee all the time, and I didn't realize that we're going to be doing like 2-hour deal here. And what am I when I have pee? I don't know. Oh dear. That's not good. Maybe I could put a little, nope. I'm just going to have to hold it. There's so many people laughing right now. I could tell. Everybody's just like,
It's not good.
I can't do it for my kidneys. Do you have anything you can talk about? No. You're like, don't put me in front of the camera.
Give me a topic and everything.
Okay.
I'll do it. Go to the bathroom.
I really do, though. But I hate to put you on the spot.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time.
Show them your dogs.
No,
we don't need to show them that. People love dogs. All right, I'm going to take a minute because I need to pee. I have bad kidneys. If I don't pee, it's going to be bad. So Grayson's going to take over for a minute, and I'll be right back. When I come back, I odd yesterday and how I ended up in a room that I should have never, ever been in. So I'll be right back. I don't know. What are you going to show me your dogs?
What's up, Wenatchee? Grayson here. So what kind of a topic can I talk about? Well, I guess for starters, who else is excited that the snow is going away? I am totally happy that the snow is finally melting and going away. And I really am just elated that we are going to be getting out of this and going into a nice spring. And I can't wait. Who else out there can't wait until spring finally springs upon us? So for anyone that has not been here locally that is watching, we've had snow on the ground pretty much since before Thanksgiving. The weather is always an interesting thing because it always changes. You think that you're going to get it continuously and then you don't. And then sometimes it happens on a holiday and it doesn't happen on the other, but you think it should happen on Christmas and it either does or doesn't. But this year we had lots of snow on the ground come Christmas time. And so it really made the holidays really nice for all of us. However, too much snow is too much snow. And finally, they said that it was going to snow and it rained. And so now we're coming to an end of this icy season. And so for anyone else out there that agrees with me, like that, because it is a likable thing. I'm going to bring Nikki back to you.
Thanks, Grayson. When in doubt, talk about the weather, right?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for that minute reprieve. I appreciate it. Okay, so yesterday, I was not really sure about how to start my day. And I go to this normally. I go to this like work shared workspace, and sometimes it's just like too quiet, and I'm a bit more social, so I'll go down to Yogi Grind. Shout out to Yogi Grind. They're always so good to me. I love Teddy. He is awesome. And they have this stress less. I get the stress less with a shot of espresso and oat milk. And I got that and a bagel, and I just like kind of sat down, started working, and Shannon Delaney Craft came down, and we had coffee together. We were going to try and work. It did not happen. No, we just ended up talking. And I ended up seeing Allison, this girl Allison, who used to be a bartender at the Buzz Inn, where I was a karaoke host for like 5 years. Do you remember Allie?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah. And people used to say that her and I looked a lot alike, looked a lot like each other.
Very similar.
Yeah. Like I think she is gorgeous. Like if you ever see her, she's just a super gorgeous, very awesome feature. She's got like the big brown eyes, she's very super nice skin. Whatever. Yeah. I think I look at her and I'm like, I do not look like her. I'm like the like kind of like boyish version of her, which I'm fine about. I like kind of being the boyish version of me that I decide to look like. So I saw her there because she's not working at the Buzz Inn anymore. I asked her, she had a son, Ronan, our little kid is, and we caught up a little bit, and she was working at Chateau Fairlepont. So she's working there part-time now. So it was good to catch up with her. And then I saw Tom Neese, who works with Serve Wenatchee Valley. If you guys know Tom, he's a lot of people around town know him. Now, I think if people saw me and Tom sitting at a table together, they might look a little sideways, because they'd be like, that's an odd pairing. But it's really not as odd as you might think. You know, Tom has shown some interest in having a forum for communication with the community in certain areas that he wants to talk about. And him and I have varying different views on things, but we come from a place of love and respect and mutual appreciation of each other. So starting next week, Tom is going to join me here on the What's Up Wenatchee podcast once a month for a little segment, for a little chat segment. And we're going to talk about some issues that are important to the community that I think him and I might not see eye to eye on everything, but we're going to be able to have an educated and calm conversation about those issues maybe a couple times a month. So I'm really looking forward to my time with Tom starting next week. And that came out of just a random coffee conversation yesterday. So that will be fun to sit down with him starting next week. And then in the midst of all that, I got an email from Alice Brown, who I talked about a little bit earlier on in the program. She is the executive director of the North Central Washington Economic Development District. And I will be working with them to do some podcasting projects for the upcoming Supernova competition. And I'm really excited about that. So she had emailed me, and this email simply said, can you meet me at 11? I think it was 1 p.m. Can you meet me at 1 p.m. to talk about next steps? Sure. Absolutely. Alice, whatever you need. I'll be wherever you need me to be. She wanted me to go to the Hilton Garden Inn, which I thought was a little strange. I'm like, is she working out of the Hilton these days? What's going on with Alice? So I went down to the Hilton Garden Inn and I waited in the lobby, and she texted me, I'll be right out. She came out. She was like in a flurry. And she had another woman with her who she introduced to me as Jen, I believe her name was. And it was like, we only have like 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, what do you got? And I'm feverishly writing notes, and I'm thinking, like, this is not at all what we had talked about for our podcast project at all. And I stopped her and I like, Alice, so are we changing our podcast project? Are we reallocating funds and energy to do this in addition? She goes, oh, no. This is something completely different. Something new, something completely different and new. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, and then I turned to the woman. I said, can I just get your name? And again, do you have a business card? Like, I was behind the 8 ball and trying to catch up fast. Luckily I'm a pretty smart gal, and I did. Or I fake it till I make it. And so I asked them, and they had to go. They had to go back to wherever they were going. I said, what are you doing here? Where are you? Why are you here? And they said, oh, we're part of this steering committee because North Central Washington got a funding grant to bring tourism into North Central Washington. We ended a 5-day workshop for this steering committee that is supposed to bring in tourism for North Central Washington. Would you like to join us? Sure. Of course. So I walk into this room, and I'm thinking it's going to be like 50, 100 people in this. No. There were like 10 people in the room. And then I show up. Now, all these people, like 10 people or so, whatnot, had been together like nonstop for 12 hours a day for 5-6 days now. So they were in the last like 4 hours of their workshop, and in walks me into this room. And nobody has any idea where I came from or why I'm there. And I have no idea where I came from or why I'm there, but I just sit down and shut up. Turns out this is a partnership between the Economic Development District and the state of Washington tourism. And there was some pretty heavy hitters in that room. I mean, we're talking, if you know, like Jerry Barclay. We're talking the mayor of Waterville. We're talking the Forest District. The Chamber of Commerce were invited. We got the Economic Development District. There were people there, and me. And so they were looking through their initiatives. They had this list of things that this committee, and they're going to be recruiting people to be working on projects, action item projects to help bring tourism into the region. Other areas have done this, like Western or places in Oregon have done this, but they want to put NCW Washington on the map as a brand. And how do you do that? So they have certain initiatives that they're going to be doing to do that. Certain things like a tread map app, which shows outdoor recreation in the region. A farm food map, so you can know where your farms are and your food is coming from. Arts and culture and heritage events. And then fourth on the list is road trips and podcasts. That's me, road trips and podcasts. Going around the room, as like right after this lunch break, they're going around the room going, okay, tell us your number one off of this list of 15 different things. What's the one most important thing that you think we should focus on? And they went around the room, and as they got to me, because everybody knew each other, and they get to me, and she was like, oh, we have a new friend. And I'm like, hi, I'm Nikki Darling. I own Darling Productions. And, I think this is really great. And I gave a little spiel for podcasts. And I was like, because I'm, I own the only local podcast network in the region. So there you go. Podcast is a growing industry. It's $1 trillion. And it helps you get, if you want. So I gave my little spiel and everybody laughed. And it was nice. And I ended up staying the entire afternoon, like until they were done. And they, at the end of the day, I did end up being put onto an action committee, of course, because once you're in the room, they volunteer you for something, which is fine. But at the end of the day, they ended up going around the room again for your like final thoughts. And I was literally the last person to give a final thought of this entire 6-day workshop. Like, how does this happen? So I'm the very, very, very last person. And I just went, I'm not really sure how I made it into this room. I'm very grateful that I got to be here. I said, there are a few things that are really important to me. My family, the community that I live in, and storytelling. And when all of those things come together, I really appreciate the opportunity to be in the room. So thank you for allowing me to sit in the room today and be a part of this. That's all I could do. That's all I could say. I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know if they're going to add road trips and podcasts to their action plan or their initiatives, but I didn't even know this was happening until yesterday. But what an odd turn of events that I don't know how I ended up in that room, but it was right where I was supposed to be, because it was something that they didn't know anything about, and I was able to give a little bit of information, because one of the big things that they want to accomplish is being able to communicate whatever they want to do, whether it's build a map or a website that outlines all of the great things that are happening in North Central Washington and bringing in outside tourism to our region because of the food or the rec or the festivals or the entertainment or the fairs, whatever it might be. They want a way to be able to communicate that across not just our region, but our state, our country, to outside our country, to the world, that North Central Washington is a special place to live. And I really do believe that podcasting and that kind of medium, doing some kind of audio documentary type style, is a way to do that, is storytelling at its best. I mean, storytelling is the oldest art that there is, right? It's how stories got passed on, was through oral tradition or storytelling. This is just the way to do that. So there is a website if you want more information on this steering committee. I'll make sure that that gets out there. If you're part of an organization or a business that is interested in helping to bring in tourism from outside of our region, you want to be part of one of these action committees. I know that they are going to be recruiting businesses and organizations and individuals who want to get involved. So I'll make sure that that information gets out there. Or I know that Alice Brown at the Economic Development District is highly involved because she's one of the partners. So I know that you could reach out to her as well. Okay. As a reminder, next Friday, we are going to be broadcasting live from the concourse at the Town Toyota Center. It is going to be daddy-daughter date night at the Wenatchee Wild. And we're helping out to celebrate all the daddy daughters out there with a live broadcast of What's Up Wenatchee in the afternoon, 12 to 2 on the concourse. And then also I will be doing daddy daughter karaoke from 5:45 until 7 on the concourse. So that is gonna be a lot of fun. And we're gonna get a chance to talk to Coach Clarkey about everything in the Wenatchee Wild world. Oh, thank you guys for hanging with me so much today. This has been a really fun afternoon. I had noticed something going on here locally. Of course, we're going to talk about stuff here locally. I just want to reiterate that I decided not to do any interviews this week. Because we have had some issues with the video. We had some glitches last week. We are working on it. And until we are 100% sure that we have everything ironed out, we don't want to get anybody on and then have things go wonky. So we have some more equipment to test today, some more equipment coming in tomorrow that we're going to be testing out, and we'll be 100% fully ready for our Town Toyota live broadcast next Friday. So thank you for your patience and tuning in. But you could always type into the chat and we can interact with you that way. And we are going to get a couple people on Clarkey, but Tom Neese is going to be Tom's first week with us as well. I'm not really sure what Tom is going to want to talk about on his first week, but I know one of the big topics for him has been ferocious dogs. One of the big topics for Tom has been the homelessness issue in our area and what the systemic problems are and how we can just put a band on a machete wound and how we can systemically try and solve the issues of homelessness in our area. So maybe he'll want to talk about that next week. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I did see that this week, Chelan County is going to conduct an annual point-in-time homeless count. So for anybody who doesn't really know what that is, I don't know how often they do this, but it's going to be happening on Thursday. And the outreach is part of something that they do nationally. It's a national effort to really get a snapshot of how many homeless people there are in each town. And why do they do this? I mean, one, it's because they want to know how big the need is, because they need to know how much funding to send to an area. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. it's an estimate because the homeless population or the houseless population is going to fluctuate in any area. So that's why it's a point in time survey. It's a snapshot. And then they use an estimate over a point in time. And if they can do it at this point in time, and at this point in time, and at this point in time, they can calculate an average over a course of a longer period of time. So Sasha Simon is the Chelan County Housing Program Coordinator. And she says it's not just really about just the funding, but it's also about connecting with the homeless population in our community, getting their stories, seeing what their needs are, and just having that person-to-person connection as well. So that's going to be happening this Thursday. And then we should, I guess, get some numbers and reports back as we move through the quarter, getting some funding. And she says also at the end of the line, the numbers are data points used for funding determinations so that they can use those in policy making as they move through Olympia. All right. I know it is a big issue. It's going to be a big issue going forward as we try and get more lots for RV parking. I know coming up, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know a whole lot, I should say, of what's going on with mayoral campaigns, but it's pretty darn determined that Frank is not going to run again for mayor. And he has been an advocate for moving this issue along. Or making it a priority on the list lately, and funding it. So you never know. We're gonna obviously see somebody new, and that's gonna pray for the couple of people that are high on the docket there for a mayoral campaign. Well, we're gonna have to wait and see, but I would hope so. I know one of the candidates that is pretty good and likely to run would definitely make this a priority. And that person, I don't care, I'll say it. I know probably Mike Poirier is going to run from District 2. And I would think that the homelessness issue is a pretty important one for him. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But it seems like I honestly, I wasn't sure about what Frank was doing at the beginning with closing the tent camp. And I tried not to react so much and kind of see how things played out. But if he just closed it and then didn't do anything, that would have been a disaster. But now that we're seeing some other resources pop up, but this is why I would like to talk to Tom a little bit more about it, because he does have a bit more of an in those knowing what's going on in that community. But I feel like I don't want to just, there's always going to be a homeless community and we need to help them, but there is also people who want to get out of that situation, and we need to make sure that there are resources available for them to better their situation if that is what they want to do. Where I don't, don't make it a broken system where the system is holding them back from being rehoused. And that's why I like to talk to people, because I want to know what the answers are. So hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll get to talk to some people about those issues. Just because I don't have all the answers and I want to know all the answers. And also, speaking of Shannon, we were talking about Shannon a little bit earlier. One of our conversations that I had with Shannon when we were talking yesterday at Yogi Grind is we were talking about the housing prices. And because Shannon is a real estate agent for Coldwell Banker, she was the highest selling broker or agent in her office this past year. She had like $7 million in sales this past year. Like, so, oh my gosh, good for you. Like, she hustled her little batuckas off. But she was, and I wanted, if she wasn't sick today, I was going to get her on and talk to her because I would have been able to have her here in person. But she is sick, and so we'll get her on to talk about this some other time. But she was giving me the lowdown on the interest rates, mortgage interest rates, and how they are raising, and how normally when mortgage interest rates rise, house prices drop, but that is not happening. And that is why people are not buying and people are not selling. So the market is kind of frozen right now. And yeah, and we were kind of talking about our situation where when we first sold Ryan's house, we had to sell his house 3 times. Ugh. So the first time it sold, we locked in our mortgage at just over 4%. And then that buyer, we had to then sell his 2 more times. And by the time we finally locked in, our interest rate was just under 6. So still not that bad. Definitely not that bad in comparison to the late 1980s, where interest rates, you were lucky, were like at 18%. People would have chopped off their left arm for an interest rate at 6%, right? So let's keep everything in perspective, because even if you have a slightly high interest rate, you can always refinance. I don't know how I got into talking about mortgage rates, but hey, it's what's happening around here. And we talk about just about everything. Hey, Chris. Hi. Oh, yes, that's awesome. Chris just dropped off a whole case of glass, like professional grade glass cleaner at my house that I'm going to be giving away on the podcast. He is our local Safe Light repair, Safe Light replace guy. And he has these awesome professional glass cleaner things. And so thank you, Chris. This is awesome. All right. So if you missed anything, we had a really amazing program today. We talked about how I'm weirdly connected to Seth MacFarlane. Inevitable that I am going to get a Family Guy tattoo. If you missed that, you're going to have to go back and figure that one out for yourself or rewatch. I had a day yesterday where I basically crashed a really serious conference that was happening at the Hilton Garden Inn. Oops.
I wouldn't call it crashing.
It kind of crashed. And we have some really special things starting up next week. We're doing our special broadcast live from the concourse at the Wenatchee Wild Town Toyota Center. And we're going to talk to Coach Clark, Wenatchee Wild season. And Tom Neese will be on with us to talk about whatever we want to talk about. And we're going to take our opposite views and do it with love and respect. And we can't wait to do that. If you haven't had a chance, check out the Lenesse Boutique. They are our show sponsor. They are at the end of Wenatchee Ave. So across from Les Schwab, behind All Good Things, Crystals, Rocks, and More. In Suite 12 there. It's awesome. 1340 North Wenatchee Ave.
There you go.
I got it. I got it in my brain somewhere. Thank you so much. Or at linsa.net. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. We will be back next week. Check out the YouTube. If you are not watching on YouTube right now, you can check us out on YouTube. I've been working hard at it. So hard on getting it all uniform, making it look nice. It's like legit, Grayson. We're starting to get like real legit.
Oh yeah, you've been doing a lot of work. A lot.
Thank you. Most importantly, thank you. Like thanks everybody for your support. Always you can support us by subscribing. I don't really like to say subscribe. I like saying joining the community, right? Like join the community. Can we just use that term from now on? So join the community at Supercast. So it's wuw.supercast.com. So what's up? It's what's up Wenatchee, WW at supercast.com. And you'll see the different levels where you can join the community. We have the Darlings, the Just Saying level, and what's the other level? I can't remember. I don't know. I made them up and I can't even remember.
Yes, you did. But there are 3 different
levels. Oh my gosh. I'm terrible. Look, I'm going to do it.
Do it.
So we have the Darling level, the Just Saying level. Oh, and the Super Supporter level. Super Supporter. And that'll get you, discounted merch and access to unreleased interviews and things like that. So it's wuw.supercast.com to join the family. Join the fam. Thanks, guys. I will catch up with you next week. I love doing this. I love what I do. I love you all, and I love this community.
Yay!
Bye.